Hello everyone, it's Kari here today and I have 4 cards to share. I'm using this stamp set for 2 of the 4 cards. This is the It's All Relative stamp set from Missing Stamps, and I'm going to be combining them with some Thermoweb products. This is the Deco Foil Slimline Toner Card Fronts, and I'm also using the Lapis Watercolor Foil. Now look how beautiful this is on that toner card front. I think looks really beautiful, and I'm taking a toner sheet of paper that I have here and I'm using the rest of the foil on that. Now you can print your own toner sheets. You can print your own toner sheets if you have a laser printer, but I get mine from Maker Forte. I prefer to have their black canvas sheets so I don't have to use all my toner on a piece of paper. I feel like it's a lot of toner. So I have these sheets that I use periodically for this purpose. And I believe Thermoweb also has some toner sheets that you can use for this as well. Now I'm going to be stamping out those stamp images, and I've stamped Einstein a couple of times here because I know we're going to make a couple of cards. I've got both of those card panels ready to go, and I think they're going to look great with this Einstein. So I'm coloring him up, starting out with skin tones. I'm using E55, E53, and E50 on this one, and I think it looks really, really great with this Einstein image. I just love this stamp set. So I'll blend those through, and then I'm going to get started on his hair as well. I'm going to just use some cool grays on his hair, and the great thing is there are already lines drawn in by the artist, so all you have to do is follow those lines with your darkest gray. I'm starting with the C5 here for the darkest, and I'm just going over those lines that are already there. I missed the ears there, so I'm going to go back and color those ears. Then I'm going to blend out that C5 with the C3 just a little bit, and then I'll go in with my last 2 remaining cool gray colors just to finish this off. Super easy coloring, and I think it turns out so great every single time. I also colored out his mustache in the exact same way, and now I'll move on to his jacket using YG 67, 63, 61, and I threw in YG 95 just for some fun to add a little bit more of a yellow-green tint to this jacket. And then I'll just blend all of that out. I think he looks great in a dark green jacket. What do you think? I'm going to color his pants kind of khaki, and I was going to go with some more greens, but I decided to go with warm grays instead. So I thought that looked really great with the jacket, using just W5, W3, and W1 very simply. To finish off his shoes, I'm using neutral grays in N7 and N5 to give him some black shoes, and that's just all there is to color up this Einstein. I also gave him a blue tie, and there's a closer look at Einstein. I think he's going to look great with that background. I ended up coloring all the rest of these off screen. I didn't think you wanted to watch me color everything, so I colored them and then fussy cut them out, and now I'm going to stamp a couple sentiments on this chalkboard. It says, "You're brilliant. I'm relatively impressed." And I'm going to heat emboss that with some clear embossing powder. That way I don't smear it, and it gets a little bit of shine on the sentiment. I really like that, and I like that most of these sentiments fit right inside that chalkboard. They really planned this out really well. If you take a look at the desk up above here, you can see that I kind of drew some lines in to make it look like it has some wood grain to it. I used the same colors that I used on his face with one darker brown color for the lines, and then I just kind of softened them up using the lighter browns. So that was very simple to do. And now I'm also white heat embossing this sentiment. It says, "The world is full of protons, neutrons, electrons, and morons." And so I put that on a black sentiment strip, and I'm going to pop it up with some foam tape here and put this card together now. I love this background with this card. It makes for a real simple background, but it adds a lot of pop with that foil, lots of colors here, and his blue tie matches that blue background also. And I think it brings out a little of the green too in the foil. So I did cut this down to be a mini slimline size. It's 3.5 by 6, and I trimmed around just a little so it would have a white border all around this entire card. To finish off this last card, I'm using a simple sentiment. This is something I've had in my stash from Maker Forte, and I have been dying to use it. It says, "You matter unless you multiply yourself by the speed of light squared, then you energy." Now, I thought this would be really fun to send to one of my really smart friends, so they will get a kick out of it for sure. Now, this is a foilable piece because it is printed with toner paper, but I'm just using it as is, as a black sentiment there with white writing. And I glued it down with some liquid adhesive, and I will pop up Einstein with some foam tape. I did that on both cards just to give it some more dimension, and I really love the way those both turned out. So here's a closer look. Look at how that background shines with that beautiful Lapis watercolor foil. And I think they look so fun with these Einstein images. Now I want to show you my second set of cards. This is using Summer Rainbow foil on a clear toner sheet. These toner sheets surprised me because they are printed on just these clear sheets, but you can still foil them. So I'm using one that's called Blossom Buddies. It has some roses on the one I'm using. It comes with 2 different sheets though, and the other one has a different kind of flower on it. So there's lots of things you can do with this. These sheets are also larger, so you can cut them down just to fit your card. So I just cut it down, so I used just a quarter of it so that it was an A2 size card. Then I stamped out my Queen of Hearts images. Now you know that I love these images. I love to color them up, and I thought that I would show you how I add a little more pizzazz to these dresses. It's something that I love to do, and so I thought I would just share with you. I'm going to color this up very quickly, but then I'll show you how I add the extra little details. And on this one, I'm using some magenta colors and black. On the other Queen of Hearts, I'll use more reds. So they are going to be a little bit different. I have the colors up there listed on the screen. I am adding some red to this as well as some yellow highlights, and now I'm going to add some details. So I have a black gel pen here, and I know it's very hard to see, but I'm adding some little tiny hearts along the outside of her skirt here on the yellow portion that I colored in, and that's going to give it a lot more detail. Then after I finish that, I'll take a white gel pen and add some polka dots, just some little dots to the black portion of her dress. Look at how much interest that adds to her dress there. Then I'm going to add a few little lines in the middle here. Just some lines down the center to give it more. And I'll go on the top and also on the bottom portion of that inside piece of her dress. For the bodice, I'm also adding some polka dots and also on her sleeve. So lots of detail. I will hold this up a little closer so you can see it a little bit better. There we go. Look how cute she is. I like her dress. But look at all the different ways you can color up this Queen of Hearts. For the other one, I colored it up more in reds and yellows and blacks, and now I'm just adding some simple V's, kind of like elongated V's to her skirt, just again using that white gel pen. And so I'll just finish up the outside of her skirt here, and look at that, so super cute. I'll add some polka dots to the inside of her dress and some more V's to her bodice there. So look at that. Aren't these Queen of Hearts just so styling? I also colored up those roses red. Of course, she wants her roses red, right? That's what she asked for. So I've already cut these all out, and again I'm using that leftover foil on a toner sheet and running it through the MINC machine, and we get a second piece. So that's why I'm able to make 2 cards with just 1 piece of foil. To finish this off, I inked on a little bit of red to this circle die cut that I just cut out of some white cardstock. And the sentiment says, "Off with their heads," which is something the Queen said quite a lot, I believe, when she didn't get things her way. But we colored up some of these roses red, just not all of them. I guess she still wasn't happy. So I'm putting this card together now, and I've got a matte piece of a red paper. For the foil though, the foil that's on the clear toner sheet, I didn't want any of that to show with my adhesive. So first I'm gluing that circle on the toner sheet, then I'm gluing just behind the circle to the white piece of paper. So you're not going to see any liquid adhesive showing through there at all. So this is one way to get that adhered to your card. You can also cover the entire back of it with some adhesive, the whole thing with like an adhesive sheet, and then you won't see that as well. But I like doing it this way most often. So there's those two cards put together. Here's a little close-up there for you to see. Look how beautiful that summer rainbow is. And I love this, the roses in the background. So I hope you enjoyed this look at using your toner sheets a couple different ways and getting some of those fun designs from Thermoweb and Deco Foil. I love those designed backgrounds. It makes it so easy to put together these cards. If you enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up. It really does help. And I hope you'll subscribe to the channel as well. We'd love to see you again. I'll be back soon with more card inspiration. Bye-bye.